What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Startup Storybook Podcast. I'm Turner Ray here with my friend Wes Orr, and our guests today are Vir and Wyatt, the founders of Tilt. So when I first saw y'all guys, it was on Instagram, and Vir, you were making videos every day saying today is day 143 of building a $1 billion startup at age 15. So can you introduce yourself and Tilt, and what are you building so young?
Yeah, I'd love to. So, as we know, my name is Veer. I'm building Tilt with my co-founder Wyatt, and what we do is we turn dialogue into data that allows companies, news channels, and people to make better decisions about what they believe in, how they act, and how companies move forward. So, a little bit about me and my backstory. I've been debating ever since sixth grade. I'm nationally ranked and won the Texas State Championships in seventh grade. And I've debate had has become a part of my life. It's integral to who I am and the way I communicate and express myself. When I tried to apply what I learned in debate and the way I communicated elsewhere, I was ashamed and annoyed to see that the internet was really an echo chamber. Everything I said would just come right back at me. There was no point of making real, meaningful argumentation and having good conversation online. And Tilt is built to fix that. We use proprietary logic scoring, summarization, and social infrastructure to make the internet less of an echo chamber and more of a place where signal is appreciated over noise. With that, I think Wyatt would love to talk about himself, and I'll give it to him.
Yeah, so similar to you, Turner, I actually came across Tilt on Instagram myself. I've been working as a venture analyst and a deal scout at Atlanta Technology Angels and Outlier Capital Group for about the past year now. Probably looked at close to 100 pre-seed deals, really high quality deal flow, and I was amazed when I came across Tilt. 15-year-old founder seems so much higher potential than the vast majority, I would say almost actually every single one of those other deals that I looked at. And, I was doing full-time venture recruiting for after I graduated Emory, and I just fell so in love with Tilt and Veer's vision. And we became so quickly aligned on what we thought that this could be. I decided to forego that and put everything into Tilt, and I could not be happier. It's been an amazing decision so far.
That's awesome. So the original idea came from being online, seeing these echo chambers, and being like, there has to be a better way to do that. So I just want to jump straight into it. I've Everyone's been thinking and talking about AI taking over the world and having an AI president and an AI this and an AI that, right? I think this is one of the smartest applications of using AI to solve one of the biggest problems of poor communication or lack of clear and honest communication, especially with being online. So, can y'all just maybe get a little technical? Explain what y'all's platform is and how you use AI to do what you do.
Yeah, amazing. So the way that we work is whenever, especially on our social platform, whenever a user makes an argument under a debate, we use our logic scoring system to decide to kind of uh, come up with the quantified value of the argumentation. The best argumentation gets pushed to the top of any debate, and the worst argumentation gets pushed to the bottom. We also have a system of upvotes and downvotes where users can actually say that even if an argument has a bad logic score, if it makes sense to them, then it gets pushed up higher artificially. That's really the secret sauce, the magic of what we do. And that's where we see it applying everywhere because if anyone can say anything, that's just the way society works today. And if we're able to filter out what makes sense from what doesn't, that's huge to anyone that wants to improve engagement on their platforms. That's huge to democratic and civil workflow as well.
So, just so I fully understand, on your website, I was going on and kind of looking at it. You can essentially submit a debate topic. So I think one on there was like, does pineapple belong on pizza? Right. So that's a debate topic I submit. And then Wes can go on and like say an argument. No, pineapple's only for fruit and like then the AI goes and ranks his reasoning? Is that how it works?
Exactly.
Okay. So
Yeah, I just want to jump in, Turner. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I think this is important. So right now, Tilt currently exists as the platform standalone that you saw yourself. You know, you log on, there's the debate cards, you can interact with it. Our long-term vision for Tilt is that it exists everywhere on the internet. It's in Slack as an API, it's in Chrome as a Chrome extension, it's integrated into social media platforms, media organizations, so that and the reason for that is that people are already arguing and debating online all the time. So we don't need to bring people onto our platform. We're going to meet people where they are. And we think that's where the massive value add for Tilt is. You know, right now you want to logic score something on Instagram. Sure, you could screenshot it, put it into ChatGPT and ask. But one, chat is not specialized to logic score inputs, and two, that's a lot of unnecessary friction. People want to be able to have the logic scoring happen on the platforms they already use, like the social media platforms and the media organizations. So right now we have a big push towards making Tilt like a cup, so ingrained and so necessary that people forget it's even a thing or a feature. It just becomes so ingrained into daily life, people have to use it.
Yeah, that's it. That's really interesting. And what I think about is, well, how you determine what's logical and what's not, and like what that algorithm looks like. Would you guys be able to
Yeah.
talk on that?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. Uh, our logic scoring is weighted on 4 factors. Number one, a fact check. Number two, a check for logical fallacies. Number three, relevancy to the debate. And number four, logos versus pathos, logic versus emotion. And in each of those criteria, it's scored out of 100, 100 being the best it can be and 0 being the worst possible. And the average score of those 4 criteria comes out to the overall logic score. Uh, Now, what's unique about our logic scoring system is through our site, we've managed to build a data flywheel that makes it very difficult for others to copy what we do. Every bit of context that goes into our AI is enhanced with what comes from our platform, and that means we're better at what we do than anyone else can be.
And that's kind of why we're taking that approach on the platform right now. So we can get that proprietary data, build up the data flywheel until we have something so unreplicatable, no one else could even try or think about doing this.
So you're aiming to take the Google approach effectively, but for debate and logic.
Exactly.
Exactly.
well, and effectively the AI would get smarter over time and recognize, you would hope, what is more logical over time. Uh,
Ex-
yeah, go ahead.
exactly. And I know Ver mentioned a little bit about our algorithm for scoring the logic, but you know, as we get more data, it just becomes more robust, more nuanced, more factors come into it, and it becomes just a self-improving engine.
So, what happens if, let's say, I know y'all are talking about integrations into everything on the internet, but just on your website, what happens if someone puts in, we'll go with this pineapple on pizza analogy. What happens if, like, for that, there's not really a right answer, right? Like, some people like pineapple on pizza, some people don't, and you both are okay. How does AI score that? Because it doesn't have necessarily the human experience. It has all the accounts of other people. But how does it weigh two goods?
Yeah, I'd love to take that question. So, for debates where there's no subjective right answer, or there's no objective right answer, what we do is we weigh certain criteria more than others. For example, if someone goes into the pineapple on pizza debate and talks about how berries taste good on pizza and so should pineapple, then, and I'm only saying this because we've actually seen it get argued in our debate. But if someone does that, then we'll weigh a fact check and a lack of fallacies as well as relevancy over say logic, because there's only so much that you can kind of argue and weigh when it comes to personal opinion, and that's where we shine, because I think that due to the way that we prioritize certain criteria over others, our system can adjust to any type of debate, any type of disagreement scenario.
So, on that note, I guess there is a distinction. Well, okay, let's go with it this way. Current social media, open forum, websites, whatever you want to call it, whether that's Reddit or Instagram or whatever your choice is, they're all really based on popularity.
Yes.
And so you are kind of subverting that element and trying to bring in logic as a metric of success instead of just pure popularity. But it did sound like you still have an element of popularity involved. Is that right? Can you explain more on that?
Yeah, sure. So what we do realize is, although a certain argument might be more logical than another, uh, the way that people perceive those arguments matters almost as much. And that's why we have our own formula for determining the overall rank score of any argument. There's the logic score, which we do by ourselves, that our system is the best it can be at. And then there's the total upvotes or downvotes. Net votes is what I call it. If you have 4 upvotes and 2 downvotes, it becomes a net vote of 2. And our formula, which is actually public on our website, is the logic score times the amount of net votes becomes the rank score, and the argument with the best rank score is what gets pushed to the top. Now, if every argument doesn't have a upvote or downvote and it's at 0, then it's only logic score sorting. And if there's no logic score, if the AI is still scoring, then it's sorted by the net votes.
Yeah, and going back to your question, Wes, social media from the start of Facebook, it's kind of been there's a great argument to be made that it's a net negative for society, and that really what it's been effective at doing is creating division and outrage and misinformation and making people confused. So we're taking, just like you mentioned, the complete opposite approach. Instead of rewarding clout, follower counts, and outrage like all the platforms do now, we're trying to reward clarity and logic and reasoning. And I think there's a massive desire for a platform like this in the world right now, with all the noise, all the misinformation, and the huge lack of signal.
Yeah, I certainly agree. I think because like Instagram has their fact checkers, right? It has the um, ability to fact check people and see what is logical. So I guess my question for you would be like, do y'all see this being something that Instagram would be even interested in? Would they want to turn over that logical checking to y'all?
So we actually know that fact checking and logic and reasoning analysis is completely different. And fact checking has been around for a while. Platforms have stopped doing it, started doing it, increased moderation, decreased moderation. And through all of that, it's never really accomplished that issue of bringing clarity and logic and reasoning to these social media debates. So it's shown that we need to go magnitudes farther than simple fact checking. And that's where the logic and reasoning scoring comes in. You could argue that these platforms like Instagram get so much engagement because of the echo chambers that they create and all the outrage that they create. So, yeah, totally. Maybe they won't want to put this in. But we think once we get one big fish to bite and people start interacting with this all the time, it's going to become a must have for every single one of their competitors.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in the event that none of them do bite, would you see yourself becoming a new social media? Or
That's
is that something you're not sure about?
That's one of the routes. We're kind of like a social platform that's not a social platform. We're democratized almost, and we want to be everywhere. So I can't say too much, but we have a few really cool enterprise contracts we're working on right now. And just based off of the momentum that's building, I'm pretty confident we'll be able to get Tilt into some pretty big places very soon.
That's so exciting.
Sounds like y'all kind of got two different roles. So Wyatt, maybe more the finance side, and Vera, are you doing all the um, behind the scenes, like actual coding?
Yes, exactly. I'm managing the technical side of it as well as continuing to post daily content that has kind of helped us blow up.
Yeah. And so
And oh, sorry, go ahead, Turner.
no, you're good.
So are you working on this like what would be the equivalent of a full-time job here?
Yeah, definitely. I my normal day kind of looks like I go to school from 8:30 to 4. I finish up whatever other work I have from 4 to 5. And from 5 to 2 to 3 a.m., sometimes 4 or 5, I'm just building and making content. And then it's just repeat again and again.
Wow. That is so impressive. That is so impressive. And you've done that for wait,
Almost
how
five
long have you
months
been
now.
doing that? 5 months now? Wow. Huh. That's so awesome that you've already gotten to where you are now.
Yeah,
That
thank you
shows
so
your
much.
dedication for sure to a really cool and awesome idea.
Thank you.
I think what you can tell is you love it. I mean, hearing that you've been doing debate for so long, and then seeing, I mean, even just why, like you said, seeing the videos and like most of the time you're showing the website, or I think you were in, uh, you were at YC the other not too long ago, and showing those
Yes.
types of things. And it's short, quick, but you can tell that you're really excited and passionate about what it is you're doing. And I think that's one of the best things about starting your own business, because it's like, yeah, you can stay up till 2 a.m. and do it day over day and be okay with it because you enjoy
I
it.
mean, I wanna kind of add on to that. While I was at YC, one thing that I found myself relating to with so many other YC founders was if something is broken in production, if this feature doesn't work, it feels like a knife is in your heart 24/7 until you fix it. And that's what I think drives a lot of this motivation. I fully believe it's the same with Wyatt. And to kind of add on to what I'm saying, a few nights ago, I quite literally dreamed of ringing the IPO bell at the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah,
That's a dream, man. That's a dream.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's constantly in my head, whether I'm taking a test, whether I'm coding, whatever it is.
Yeah, I
Now that
think
you now that you say that though, I'm curious. Would your intentions be to make it public or keep it private?
So I think that as we continue to scale, there's definitely an upside to going public. It's at least it's a little bit away, and
we have a
that's
lot
not
of work. We have a lot of work to do and things that we need to prioritize before we could even think about going
exactly.
public.
There we go.
I would love to go public at some point. I'm sure Vir would too, having dreamt about ringing the bell. But running a startup, especially such an early stage one that's still taking its true shape and form, is knowing what things to focus on and what things not to. And right now, we're really focused on the now and the near future. And I think that's by far the most efficient use of our time.
So, and Wyatt, let's get your half of the story. So, you're 21, graduated from college.
No, so I'm currently in my first semester of senior year at Emory University's Goizueta Business School undergrad. I'm studying finance and entrepreneurship. So this is the fourth company that I've founded alongside Vir, three others on my own or with other teams. Um, One of them was not a tech business. It was reselling clothes and shoes. Another one was a marketing agency. And the last one before Tilt was AI for used car buyers and sellers to make the transactions more equitable and fair, kind of remove the information asymmetry. And out of everything that I've worked on as a founder, as an analyst, as a venture scout, I truly am the most confident in Tilt and I see the most potential here. I love it. I'd like to say I love it as much as Vir, and I can't say this enough. I'm so excited for what the future will hold here.
So, the next couple months, raising this 500,000, is there a lot of technical changes that need to happen? Is it more finding the market? What is y'all's next steps?
Yeah. So we know what our market will be. We understand who our clients are. We think we know how we're going to reach them, and we're iterating our process every day to do it the best way possible. I think Wyatt will expand more on it soon. But on the tech side of things, the core technology is built. It's now all about unit testing, ensuring our servers and databases can handle a large influx of uses. And it's also about debugging. There's some small like bugs that by themselves don't feel like much. But if you're a daily serial user of our platform or of our API, they become very inconvenient and annoying. So over the next few months, as we continue to scale, I'm number one looking at making sure we can handle that scaling. Number two, debugging and making sure that whenever we do scale, we're not losing users as they come in. And number three, pushing out new features almost every single day to make our platform even better.
Yeah, and just adding on to Vir, we have a great problem. We're incredibly blessed. We went viral before the product was ready to handle the influx of users, and we exceeded our database limits on Supabase, and there's a few other issues that happened similar to that. So right now, we're really instead of focusing on growth, which we kind of were in the past, just distribution, getting the name of Tilt out there, we've achieved a massive Instagram following, millions of views, 11,000 followers. Now we really want to make the product great before we start fueling growth again, so that we can actually handle and support the next 100K users that come on in one day and have them have good experiences on the platform so they stay and they continue to be users into the future rather than churning.
Mm-hmm. And you said next 100,000. How many do you have currently?
We're sitting at around 5,000.
Okay.
We're about 80 short of it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, and congratulations. That's awesome. That really is awesome, especially having started 5 months ago.
Yeah,
That's
and
really...
just to add a little more context to the nearly 5,000 signups, one of the bugs that happened is our email signup broke. So there was a period where nobody could sign up at all. So we lost tons. We lost probably thousands of users from that. So going back to what I said, we do need to kind of unit test, debug before we can really go back to pursuing growth.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the big things that we like to talk about with our guests is how you deal with being in college and Vir, your first high school guest, and running your business. And we've touched on it a little bit, but I'd love to go kind of deeper, maybe start with Wyatt and then Vir. Like, what does a typical day look like? And what are some tips you have to kind of maybe gain back a little bit of time here or balance your time there? What do you think?
I don't have the most wholesome answer for you. Honestly, it's a really difficult, challenging thing, and there's many times not enough hours in the day, it feels like, to get everything done. So it leads to a lot of having to prioritize certain tasks, being able to realize what you can and can't push off, keeping the momentum. Unfortunately, not paying attention during some classes or even skipping some classes because you have more attendance flexibility in college versus high school. And really, for me, so that I have this is my fourth company. I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to be in school. I don't want to be working a full-time job. And after I realized that, it was like, okay, I have to get Tilt to a point where we're funded and I can stop doing school and really put my all into this. And we're working really hard towards that goal of being able to commit full time. And we think we're going to hit that really soon, and it's going to be huge for us. So we're really excited.
And if y'all do hit that point, would you leave before finishing senior year, or would you finish out even with that influx?
Yeah.
I would come back to school to finish it at a certain point when the company was not in such a critical stage of growth. School is always going to be there. Emory is really flexible with letting people come back to finish last semester or something. So Emory is always going to be there, but Tilt and this opportunity isn't. So I think the time is now to seize it.
Yeah. And then Vir?
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar for me. I think that it's there's so many different options. I'm definitely not going to stay committed full time to like school, and because just as Wyatt said, I can always come back to it or go through secondary options. Um it's there's online education. I technically have enough credits to graduate already, so that could be an option. There's so many different ways that I can take it. All I'm concrete on is that I'm going to commit my fullest to tilt.
And I have to add on to Vir. You guys can definitely tell that Vir comes across probably decades older than he actually is in terms of his biological age. I've been on calls with Vir with some of my friends in the background who are, going to some of the top firms like Blackstone and stuff. And they're like, is this guy like 25 years old? And they kind of sneak in, they see Vir and they're like, oh my gosh, like Vir is a genius. I can say that with the utmost confidence. I think he's much smarter
Thank
than
you.
probably all the senior people in his own school. I don't think he needs high school. I think that's pretty obvious.
Thank you. I completely agree. High school is never mind. I'm just gonna let this keep going.
No,
Take the compliment, Vir. Take the compliment. You're too humble.
Thank you.
I know exactly what you mean. That I mean, if you're doing this and you have so much traction with a business, you're sitting 8 hours a day in classes. And I mean, Wes and I have had this conversation even in college. Why I'm sure you expressed, some of your classes are great and you learn, and some of them are kind of, well, I gotta go and get the grade, but it's not like I really learned anything that's life changing or extremely helpful. Um, and it's kind of just one of those balance things that for a lot of people, it's not possible to just go start a business right out of high school. Like that's probably not the smartest move. Going and getting an education is
No,
never.
I wouldn't recommend anybody to go straight out of college or straight out of high school into starting a business. There's way too much risk. You need to you need to have an idea that's good enough, and you need to be productive enough with your time where you can build enough traction in order for it to be de-risked enough to actually do full time. And for us, that's raising enough money, one, to actually properly grow the business, and two, to support ourselves and put food on the table, because we have to convince our parents that this thing is worthwhile to do instead of pursuing the rest of our education. So my advice to student founders is to try to be productive, is to try to be as productive as you can with your time. Keep building that business to a place where you have enough traction where you can kind of go out while you're still in school, like me and Vir are right now. Hopefully raise the money while you're still in school, have the money in the bank before you even make that decision to go and start a business. Otherwise, there's just way too much risk. If starting a business is really hard, like I said, I've started 4. I think the previous 3, I've been incredibly limited in terms of my success potential just by being distracted by both high school and college. So I can't wait to not have that distraction anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Veer, I want to ask you a couple questions now.
Sure.
When you were younger, did you have this kind of focused mindset like from a super young age?
Uh, uh, I'd say yes. I I went to Kumon from age 2 to age 14 or 15, I think. Like I quit a few months back. And every day at the start, it was me crying and my parents telling me to do my homework and making sure I get it done. But eventually it became kind of like a love for learning. And that's what I think drove me forward. I remember, and my mom tells me about it from time to time. At age 6 or 7, I had a backpack that I took to school that was shaped like a space shuttle. And that Halloween, I had an astronaut costume. And I dressed up, packed my backpack with a few clothes and toys, and said, "Bye, mom. I'm going to see you in 6 months. I'm going to Mars. I'll be back." So it's it's always been, I want to get here. How do I get there?
Do your friends in school think you're crazy?
uh, yeah, they tell me that every day.
Why?
Mm, Probably that I'm not as active in like a lot of the fun fun per se group chats as I used to be. It's like it's more me doing my own thing and then checking in from time to time. And I think they saw that shift.
And do you feel like
Mhm.
that's something you kinda missed out on, or do you feel like it's kind of, "Well, I've got this other thing that I truly enjoy," and doesn't make you feel like that FOMO?
I think like what all this social media and scrolling and everything and being part of these random group chats is it's just noise. And with my experience with Tilt, getting rid of noise is amazing. It's necessary and it's important to prioritize signal and working on scaling a company, going to revenue, raising funds gives me that sense of signal and accomplishment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think and I know we've kinda hit on it throughout, but when I heard about this for the first time, I truly was excited to see someone trying to make conversations in the world more normal and truly not just live in your echo chamber. I know we've used that term, but I mean, when I'm thinking of groups that are doing that, I think of Charlie Kirk. I mean, that's one person I think was trying to at least have conversations. And then there are other people who are very outwardly trying to just get people to talk. But in general, I don't, to your point, view, I think it's most people go home, they get on their phone, they scroll on Instagram, watch a YouTube video. They aren't talking seriously about deep or maybe not deep conversations. And I, w- I don't know where I'm quite going with this, but I think there's just the effort of trying to get uh, more people having these conversations. I think is really great.
Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. I'd
Definitely.
say oh, do you wanna say something? Oh, okay. Um, yeah. I'm kind of at a loss for words because I'm just so impressed by everything that you guys have put together.
We really
Um,
appreciate it. It's
Thank you.
it's
mhm,
it's it's, it's been a lot of work.
mhm. Yeah. So at this point, like, let's see, we've talked about education to a degree. We've talked about what you guys have built. We've talked about, uh, golly,
Plans for the
wow,
future. I mean,
plans for the future.
for people
Uh,
building a communications AI startup, y'all are very very good at communicating.
We
Thank you.
we appreciate that.
mhm. Yeah.
Are you guys looking for any other guests?
I mean, we'd love them.
Well, what's your alley? What are you looking for? And
Anyone who's a college student and has a startup or younger.
okay. So this is who you need to get on the podcast. He's incredibly brilliant. His name is Henry Fox. His company is Seer Tech, SIER. They make AI assisted glasses for the visually impaired. So, kind of an accessibility angle on something similar to Meta Ray Bans, but actually very, very different in practice. He's been working on this thing for 5 years, patents. He's in USC. Incredibly kind, humble, and bright entrepreneur that I think is going to go really, really far. They actually previously closed their pre-seed raise a few months or weeks ago, so they're killing it right now. We were some of the firms I've been associated with. We're doing deep diligence on him. Everything checks out. He's a great guy. Highly recommend.
And
Thank you.
how did you meet him?
As a venture scout, it's my job to go and find all these great pre-seed companies, and the firms have people like me and Vir doing those jobs for them because we're so close to the people actually building these things. And Henry was one of the top 0.0001% founders that I've interacted with.
So where are y'all both based? I don't know where Emory is. I can't remember.
I'm based in Houston.
Oh, Houston, and then Wyatt.
So I live in New York City, but I'm attending Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia right now.
Okay.
But once we get this funding, we're trying to go to San Francisco or Palo Alto or something.
Mm.
Because I was wondering in Houston, New York, or Atlanta, either one, like where do y'all go to be with other people, other founders, other young entrepreneurs?
I guess I could start. Atlanta is actually an amazing budding venture and entrepreneurship community. I've been a part of the Atlanta Tech Village, which is like a co-working space for good startups. Obviously, if you can pay for it, you got to be pretty good, or at least have some funding.
Mhm.
And I met so many great people in there. Started multiple businesses throughout my time in the Atlanta Tech Village. We have the at Emory, there's the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. There's some venture capital clubs, and just meeting people, always expanding that network has been so helpful in finding those great entrepreneurs. Emory isn't as well known for engineering as Georgia Tech. So if I want something more technical, or if I'm looking for a more technically savvy founder, I can go to Georgia Tech, and I know all the top entrepreneurs there, and they can introduce me to the younger kids that are just getting into building their first thing. So it just it's a natural. Atlanta has a great network, and I found Vir and Tilt through Atlanta Technology Angels, which is actually one of the biggest and most successful angel syndicates in North America, and it's based here in Atlanta, which is pretty surprising.
And Veer, assuming your high school classmates aren't necessarily building AI startups.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are interested. I think I have like 50 mutuals following Y Combinator, so that's great. Um, Now, where I go to meet people, to meet founders, so my dad is an entrepreneur. He runs an e-commerce business, and they basically buy and resell all types of goods across almost every platform you can think of, and they also acquire their own products. So he's part of three amazing communities: Thai Houston, YPO, and EO. And sometimes I'm able to go to these events with him where I meet people of all ages, like older than me, around his age actually. Um, like they tend to be around my dad's age, and we just I enjoy talking to them, talking with them about what we're building. And recently, I was blessed with the chance to go to YC's headquarters for a hackathon, and w- I met the highest quality of founders that I have ever met, aside from Wyatt over there. And they were all so passionate about what they were building. They kept asking me, "Are you applying to YC?" I would ask them, "Are you applying? What's your product? What are you building? What problem are you solving?" And um, more than like whatever communities of founders I have in Houston, which are amazing, like seeing those kinds of people at YC's office gave more fuel to the fire that was already burning in me.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a interesting dynamic with venture and startups where it's like the upper echelon kind of is like the gatekeeper of the knowledge and the unwritten rules and everything. And it's unfortunately it is kind of apparent when you're talking to tier one VCs versus an angel that's doing it for fun. But at such an early stage, we have to take what we can get. We even the unsophisticated investor, we'd love to work with them and help come to a better mutual understanding. And that's why we want to go to San Francisco, really, because we think that's the best environment for us to keep accelerating this momentum with around the right people.
Yeah, go be with Cluley and those guys. Cool. Well, Wes, any final thoughts?
Um, I figure we got to end with the question we always do, which is asking both of y'all for, I guess, a generalized piece of advice that you'd give to other people. Well, I mean, you guys are totally different in your age range. So, Veer, what would you give to someone your age who's entrepreneurial but is like, hey, I'm only 15, I can't do nothing? And then the same to you, Wyatt, someone who's probably got a lot going on in college and is like, hey, I don't know if I can start a business right now, or at least contribute to one. So, what would you both say to your counterparts as far as advice goes?
Yeah, well, I would tell them that age used to be a restraining factor 20, 30 years ago in my parents' time. Um, with like in today's world, there's no limit to what you can do at any age. And there's so many instances of like young founders doing amazing things. A few years back, I think a 14-year-old got into YC, and a 15-year-old from the United Kingdom, or 16, I don't actually remember, raised over $1 million for his business, and all their website is a landing page. So he sold investors on some incredible vision. And it's like, what I'm getting at here is age does not matter when you're trying to build something incredible. Know what you're building, know what problem you're solving, and just stick with it.
Similar to Veer, my advice would be is that there's no losses, there's only lessons. This is my fourth company. You know, I grew one of them to a few $100,000 in recurring annual revenue. Not massively successful by any of the big league standards. And I had my friends calling me a failure, a scammer, whatever. And all it takes is you learning, becoming a little bit better every day to get yourself to a point where you can start and do something great. And I would never let those negative feelings or what anybody else has to say hold you back. I would just keep pushing forward.
Yeah, that's amazing advice. Well, thank you both for coming on. I'm excited to see where Tilt is going to go. If someone wants to see your software, see the AI, test it out, where can they go?
So users,
sorry, go ahead.
sorry, users can go to www.tilt.vote. Any interested enterprise customers can go to data.tilt.vote, and any investors that are interested in, you know, getting our fundraising materials or exploring a conversation can email me at wyatt.wolfman@emory.edu.
Awesome. Hopefully we'll get you all some users, enterprise deals, and who knows, maybe even some angel investors who are listening. Well, Vir, Wyatt,
It was a great conversation.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. We'd love to stay in touch, and thank you guys for your time.
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much, both of you, for coming on.